Hey everybody, welcome back to Frontline. Jay here with another review. Today I'm reviewing Deadpool number 7, the 25th anniversary issue. This book has 7 different stories in it, with the main one being Deadpool. And the title of that one is The End of an Era. It is written by Gerry Duggan with art by Scott Koblish. Deadpool reminisces about his past, or more specifically, those who did things to him, and sets out to get some revenge. Now, this is kind of like Deadpoolish, silly, how he goes about doing the revenge and why he wants revenge on people. Like Iron Fist says something about his face, so he goes and he insults Iron Fist during one of his martial arts class. Someone ruined the ending for Harry Potter back in the day, so he goes and he shoots the guy. And it ends when he finds out that he remembers that Sabretooth had insulted him and said he was just a ripoff of Slade, which is a little nod to Slade Wilson Deathstroke, who kind of sort of Deadpool was modeled after. So overall, I kind of enjoyed the issue. This story I thought was pretty funny, so I'm giving the story 4 stars. The art was pretty good. I really enjoyed the art, so I'm giving the art 4 stars. Now there are 6 remaining stories here, and the first one focuses on Terror. And the title of this is Armed and Dangerous. It's written by Cullen Bunn with art by Tyler Crook. We find out a little bit about Terror's past and why he joined the Mercs for money in this. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a really good introduction to Terror for those who don't know him. We find out about why he went a little crazier than he was previously and why he decided to go from being more on the good side to more on the Deadpool side. And that's because he had his arm that was his wife's back in his original life. And he kept that arm preserved in the metal mystical casing, and during a regular mission it got blown up and the arm rotted away, so he lost that humanity. That his wife was the last bit of his humanity, which was really good. I really enjoyed the story. I'm giving the story 4.5 stars. The art I thought was pretty good too, but not as good as the story was. But I'm giving the art 4 stars. It was solid art. The next story features Stingray, and it's titled Beneath the Surface. It's written by Tim Seeley with art by Mike Norton. We get a sort of day in the life of Stingray, where we see how the Mercs consider him like their Aquaman. You know, he's a joke. And that he seems to be a bit of a spy on the team, as he is reporting their actions back to Steve Rogers. I really like this, because Stingray, I always enjoyed as a character, and I felt like when he joined Deadpool's Mercs for Money, he kind of lost something. There was something that was lost with them. It seemed like they dumbed him down, but now I know that he's playing his role, so that's really good for me. They're not, it's not that they don't want him to be important in the Marvel universe. They're just doing it for this role that he's in. So I like that. And I really like to see, we got to see his family side, and we got to see his work side, and we got to see that classic Stingray costume again. So I really liked it. The story gets 4.5 stars. This was the best story so far. The art, I really enjoyed it. I thought it stepped it up from the rest of the issue, and it's the best art in the issues so far, and it gets 4.5 stars. The next story features Slapstick, and it's called Slapstick Meets the Forgotten. It is written by Ben Acker and Ben Blacker, art by Danilo Beyruth. Slapstick rescues S.H.I.E.L.D. agent June, who's the Forgotten, from being kidnapped by some Thor's LMDs because her ex, Taskmaster, wants a second chance with her. This was a really silly story. With Slapstick, you kind of expect it, but there was really no plot to it. Slapstick was, since his brain was weird, he could remember her if he like looked at her or something. Like, that was her power. Like, if you didn't look at her, you forgot who she was. And somehow Slapstick had a way to remember it. And Taskmaster, since he can memorize people's actions and movements, his power kind of cancels out her power, and he can remember her. So he wants to get back with her because she's like, you complete me in a way. But at the end, Slapstick saves her from Taskmaster. Taskmaster decides, you don't love me were gone. The story was because it was kind of corny because it was a slapstick one. It's not really my type of story, so I'm giving the story 3.5 stars. The art, again, because it was slapstick, I think the art got a little silly at times and a little plain, so I'm giving the art 3.5 stars. All right, the next story is called features Massacre. It's called El Diablo Empujo, which is the Devil Push, and it's written by Mike Hawthorne. Pencils by Mike Hawthorne, and inks are by Terry Pallot. We find out that Masacre was a priest in Mexico, and after he heard one of Deadpool's confessions, he decided it was a sign that there was no goodness left in the world, and now it's time for a massacre. The story was really good. I did like it, and it would have got a higher score for me if it was all in English. Like most stories, like they translate it. They put in the captions translated from Spanish or whatever, but the stick with Massacre is that everything he says is in Spanish, and they write it all in Spanish. So half the issue is in Spanish, and I think that took away from it. Because especially for a reader who may not know any Spanish, like I knew enough to read it, I think they're going to be like, this whole story it makes no sense to them. So it's like 10 pages that they're going to have to skip. So I'm giving the story 3.5 stars. The art, though, is really good. I like the art. I like the fact that you never got to see Massacre's face ever. It's like a runny thing with it. So I like it. This art's getting 4 stars. The next story features Foolkiller, and the title is Foolkiller Goes Back to School. It's written by Amy Chu, with art by Emilio Laiso. We find out why Foolkiller wanted to go back to school to be a psychologist, and how the Mercs for Money helped him become one. This was a really fun story. I would have loved more meat to it, but it was like a very simple but fun story, and I enjoyed it. So I really like that the Mercs like helped him study, and they were like his study buddies, and I really like to see that camaraderie between them. So I'm giving it the story 4 stars. The art, again, was really good. Solid art. I'm giving the art 4 stars also. The final story is feature Solo, and it's called Solo Mission. It's written by Gerry Duggan with art by Phil Noto. In here, Solo is having a run of bad time. He's low on money. They're staying in a cheap motel. His wife is starting to leave him with the baby, and we find out from Deadpool that he's been dressing up as Deadpool, taking some of his higher paying work so he can get more money. Deadpool's like, at first it seems like he's mad because he's fighting him, but then we get to see that Deadpool's actually, happy that he did it because it upped his social status. People are talking about him more, so now he's getting more money. He can charge more money because he's more famous. So he offers him a job. He accepts it. He tells his wife after the place is all busted up, "We're moving back home, baby." So it was a pretty fun story. I'm giving the story, though, 3.5 stars because it was mainly just them fighting. Even though it was a fun story, it was mainly just them fighting. The art, though, I thought was pretty good. I thought the art was really solid, like most of this issue. I'm giving it 4 stars. Now, overall, I think this was a well-done thing because we got to know the characters that are featured heavily in their Deadpool right now, which are the Mercs for Money. So I like that we got to meet them finally. We got to see who they all are and got a little bit insight into who their characters are. So overall, I'm giving this 4 stars. I say pick up. It is a little pricey with the $10 price point, but I think it's kind of worth it because you get a lot of stories, you get a lot of background on these characters that you're reading each and every month. So I think it's worth it in the end. Well, those are my thoughts. Now I want to know yours in the comments below. Also, like this video, subscribe to Comic Frontline. Check out and subscribe to my channel, The Comic Book Theater. Check out ComicFrontline.com, the site, for all the latest previews, reviews, news, and interviews, along with fun, unique features with daily updates. And don't forget to like and follow me, The Comic Book Theater, Media Menace, and Comic Frontline on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and download Frontline Live every week on iTunes for free. I'll include all these links in the description below. Until then, I'll catch you in the next review.